wandering from their current positions, a reversal would then be expected to occur at some future time.
So, this tree right here burned about 3 years ago. See how that's charcoal right there on that limb, but unburned here? And all the spotty intermittent burning? This tree burned about 3 years ago, and all of this is what grew out since it burned. And it was a giant tree. There was about 3 of them right here along the road by the airport. Oop. There you go, that's a good shot. So you can come by here and look at the spotty burning on this giant limb. This log that's laying right here, this was part of the tree that burned. Come by, check it out for yourself, if you dare. Ouch. See it tightly burned in here, totally unburned right there? Anyway, so I'm gonna show you a couple more that are just like this one. This was a giant tree right here, and that's the size of the limbs that were coming up from clear down there to right here. This was a giant tree that burned, and everything that you see is growth that came out from the last 3 years. So it leaves a part of the root viable and produces new shoots after the tree burns, because this was a giant-ass tree that thoroughly burned, and there was 3 of them. This one, another one, and one further down. We're still only a quarter mile down the road from that 2400 South street sign. That tree right there is the one we just looked at. This tree, everything you see here is new growth from within the last 3 years. Walk up and take a look at the stumps and the logs that are laying on the ground. Those are the pieces of the tree that burned 3 years ago, 2018 or 2019. You can see what's still left right here has the spotty burning all over it. See how it's charcoal right there? From there to there, it's charcoal on the top side, unburned on the bottom side. All along here, it's burned on the bottom side, unburned on the top side. It's burned on the bottom side because of an ambient radiation coming up from the ground.
It is in these hard times when the future is defined. It is in these moments when you know who is who and what they are made of.
This is the same fence post that we just looked at. How it's burned here, but unburned on this side and unburned on that side. Fire don't do any of this.
There is no doubt that the magnetic field is changing, and along with it, the magnetic movement of the poles.
Plasma does all of this. That piece sticking out of the ground right there is pure charcoal. Yeah. This piece. See how it's charcoal right here, but unburned right there? Fire don't do that.
Like, oh, well, this is a genie that once it's out of the bottle, you're never getting it back in. That's true. It's not necessarily bad. It's definitely going to be outside of human control. Not necessarily bad, right? Yeah, it's not necessarily bad. It's just outside of human control. It will cause damage or death. There will be an outcry. There will be an investigation.
In Pittsburgh, and so new developments here, right? So this is on my street. This is the pool that's down the street from my house, and then the one's directly in front of my house. Okay, and I never really noticed this until I saw the burns today. Obviously, the colorations made it pop out. But you see how the metal toppers are all charred. They were never like that before. See that? Now, the rest of the pool, which is wood, is untouched. No plasma burns on these ones.
What you're going to see, though, and he's going to mention it, that the creosote is at the bottom. This is an effect of the plasma that's probably apparent on 50% of the wooden telephone poles out there. The creosote drains down clear to the bottom, and you can see where it collects up, and it starts to ooze out and bubble out here. You can see it coming out in a liquid form oftentimes, leaving the rest of the pole brittle and dry and white. That's what the creosote is for, is to keep the rest of the pole oiled up so it doesn't rot and deteriorate from the weather. So just notice that, and you'll notice it around your area too. The creosote at the bottom, that's one of the finer details of plasma.
Will cause damage or death. There will be an outcry. What do you think? What's going to happen? See this with your own eyes. The appearance of the twins begins a period of 7 years, which will be our final opportunity to change our ways. Everything we experience is all a matter of choice. Right now, from the instant you heard this message, your future was changed. Every thought you have, every choice you make, is free will and free choice. Your dreams are creating the new world for you, the awakened ones. Can't wait to see what's going to be there. But you're choosing. Many are choosing to continue down the path of being warlords, suppressing humanity, judging others, hating others, racism, violence. That is your choice. On the last day, in the last times, once the final decision is made, everything on earth changes in an instant. The messages will be found written in the living stone. See that? The living stone. Through the sacred grains, waters, sunflower seeds, and even the waters. Is the divine light of creation goes into the water, guys. Why do you think the earth is flooding right now? It's all part of the design. No rainbows appearing for 40 years. Seeing rainbows every day for 40 years. And more arid. You must understand there's not a whole lot of human beings like you. You know that, right?
The Earth and its inhabitants are susceptible to great harm during a reversal. The dangers include devastating streams of particles from the sun, galactic cosmic rays, and enhanced ultraviolet B rays from a damaged ozone layer. The world today is not the world of 780,000 years ago when the poles last reversed. There are now more than 7 billion people on the planet.
And what I want you to notice is this bright light up here. And the reason I chose this particular spot is right now what's happening is a branch is falling right here. What you're seeing is plasma fire in action. All of these spots are going off like sparklers, and I'm about to take you and show you some of the what's happening here. And here is an intense spot of arcing like an arc welder, as well as here, and I'm going to show you how the branches that fall like this break away like a fuse that snaps because too much electricity is going through it. And all the rest of these spots that you see, the super bright light spots, same thing. Why are those so much brighter? Because they are arcing with the electricity.
If we add radiation to the mix, then the consequences could be very devastating for life on Earth. Modern civilization would be imperiled as solar particles damage or shut down satellites that govern the timing of electric grids, causing them to fail. The result would be a domino-like blackout of power grids across the globe.
The rest of these spots that you see, the super bright light spots, same thing. Why are those so much brighter? Because they are arcing with the electricity. This tree over here, this tree here has a bunch of spots all up and down it, but each one you'll notice is a separate bright light. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, going up that one tree. The rest of these spots that you see, the super bright light spots, same thing. Why are those so much brighter? Because they are arcing with the electricity.
So what are we doing to prepare for a magnetic pole shift? Are we watching for the signs? Sadly, the answer is no, even though the evidence is in plain sight. This visual from the National Centers for Environmental Information shows the movement of the North Magnetic Pole at 10-year intervals. The red and blue lines indicate declination, the difference between magnetic north and true north, depending on where one is standing. On the green line, a compass would point to true north.
And zero burn from this point up on the fence post. 12-inch diameter here, 3 or 4-inch diameter there. And turn to charcoal. Can you see that? I sure hope so. So come check it out if you want. Because whether or not you turn a blind eye, you will not avoid the consequences of this in your world, and you're probably better off being prepared and aware.
Consequences of such an event is that every major city could be in darkness indefinitely.
Don't be frightened.
I'm not frightened.
This is the fire that was burning a few days ago, just started. When I drove past, this is the proof that it's plasma fire. I haven't gone up there where it's still burning yet, but all these pieces with the burn unburn all over, burn unburn. These are all proof that it was plasma fire. I'll just walk along and show you a few more. All of these would be burned much more evenly if this were regular fire. Now we're going to watch the first part about how celestial cubes and spheres influence winter fire season, and this gives more proof of a cover-up where she's literally giving you subliminal embeds through the audio to counterbalance what you can see with your own eyes through the video.
Section was really bad down there. When you take a look back there at those flames, that was a home, and you can see that.
Notice, the houses are burning, the trees are not. And she says, I want to say that every tree was touched by this fire. When you can clearly see, that's not the case. It was everything but the trees that was burning. And this is the fire that happened in Boulder, Colorado last winter.
There's no more. That is gone. I mean, about 2 hours ago, it was still standing, but not anymore. And earlier today, when we kind of lost reception, we drove down. I want to say about 5 minutes down from where that fire truck is, and every single home in that general vicinity gone or burnt down. I mean, sheds are gone, cars are charred, you know, people's tools, everything in their backyards. And I mean, I want to say that every single tree I saw back there touched by this fire. And I don't want to.
Did you hear that? I want to say every single tree I saw back there touched by this fire. Yeah, touched by the smoke of the burning cars and houses. The trees are not burning. She embeds another subliminal embed to influence your mind when she talks about the fields burning. The other thing we're going to point out is how there are rings burning. This might be the only tree I see burning. It might be a telephone pole. I think it is a tree. But it's got circular rings burning on it. Fire don't do that. Fire don't do that.
That's why it's down from where that fire truck is, and every single home in that general vicinity gone or burned down. I mean, sheds are gone, cars are charred, you know, people's tools, everything in their backyards. And I mean, I want to say that every single tree I saw back there touched by this fire. I don't want to hotspots.
So you can see for yourself, the exact opposite of what she just said is true. Every single tree is untouched by these fires. This one.
Maybe there's both directed energy weapons and naturally occurring energy because of the depleted magnetic field, just like in the northern and southern hemisphere where there is no magnetic field and you get the solar plasma coming in.
It's moving throughout the fields in order to paint the mental picture of a regular fire, when you can see the opposite is true.
That lighting of these fires just throughout the fields here. I mean, it isn't just.
Just throughout the fields here? Huh. So are you going to believe your eyes or what she's telling you? Because there seems to be a contradiction between the two of about 180 degrees difference. She said not a single tree was untouched, which would be assumed if it was a regular fire, but she's trying to paint the picture of a normal fire where notice, all the trees that are still standing and not a single house in between the trees was actually untouched. It's all the trees that remain. That's what happens when these plasma fires hit an urban area.